Hello guys, and welcome to the final part of my playthrough of Shadow of the Erdtree. So in this episode, it's time for the final boss. So the final boss of the DLC is promised Consort Radahn. And in this video, I take on the pre-nerf version of this boss, prior to the latest patch, where the Radahn boss fight was nerfed quite a bit. But in terms of pre-nerf Radahn, this is easily the hardest boss in all of Elden Ring, because Radahn has 4 times the amount of HP that he had in the base game. So in this fight, Radahn wields 2 great swords, which are similar to the ones that he had in the base game. And in the pre-nerf version of the boss, his combos are quite brutal, and they'll leave you precious little time for openings to attack him.
My loyal blade, and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
So in the first phase, Radahn usually starts with a gravity spin attack. You can actually avoid damage from this gravity attack if you roll into it. As for Radahn's combos, he uses a mix of slashes and overhead slams, as well as leaping attacks, but the most difficult one to avoid is his double slash uppercut slam, as you will get thrown up in the air on the first strike and he will slam you into the ground on the second. And both of these combined will do major damage. Radahn can also manipulate gravity in different ways, such as pulling you towards him so he can attack you, and he can also perform a meteor attack. And last of all, in the first phase, he has a blood flame slash that will cause some bleed damage. As for a strategy to cope with this boss, the best thing to do is to forget that he exists and quit the game. No, as for an actual strategy, I found the best way of dealing with Radahn was to use a guard poke strategy that involves using a great shield and a thrusting weapon, such as a rapier or a spear, but I went for a rapier here because they are faster. It is also a good idea to use a rapier that has greater range, such as an Estoc or even Roger's rapier. Radahn is also weaker to bleed, frostbite and scarlet rot, so if you use the Antspur rapier, this is also a great choice, and if you infuse it with bleed, you will simultaneously get both scarlet rot and bleed damage build up.
Lord brother. At long last you are returned. Tarnished one. Aspiring lord of the old order. If you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us.
As for the second phase, Miquella himself will join the fight, in a similar way to the Twin Princes fight in Dark Souls 3, as Miquella gets on Radahn's back and imbues Radahn's attacks with holy damage. At the start of this phase, Radahn usually begins with the Light of Miquella attack, where he levitates into the air and can create a large AoE explosion of light, which can be very devastating. However, if you have a great shield with high holy resistance, such as the Black Steel Great Shield, you can block this attack with taking very little damage. Another attack in this phase is a Lightspeed Slash, where Radahn produces 4 clones of himself which will perform overhead swing attacks. These attacks can also be blocked with a Great Shield, although you do need to watch out for your guard here in case it's broken. As for one of the most dangerous attacks in the second phase, where Radahn does a side dash and teleports to do a slash attack, and this can be pretty devastating and can potentially be a one-shot. The best way to deal with this attack is to run away from him as he performs his sideways dash, and then roll towards Radahn to avoid his slash. Radahn will also do a meteor rain attack similar to the one in the base game, where he leaps into the air, and after a while he comes back down creating a massive explosion of light. And if you're caught by this again will be a guaranteed one shot. And the best way to avoid this is to sprint to the other side of the arena in the opposite direction from where Radahn leapt into the air. As for Miquella's grab attack, this can be cancelled out by using Miquella's Great Rune, and you can reuse this rune repeatedly throughout the fight. However, if he grabs you the second time, Miquella will then kill you immediately by stealing your heart, which means we need to start the fight all over again.
mother.
I can't do it. Thing sucks!
So in the end, after almost 70 attempts, I just couldn't get good enough to solo the boss, and finally decided to summon the Mimic in order to get this boss done. Although it still took me a good few goes to get him after that. So here is my final attempt at the boss, with the help of the Mimic tier. And on the 80th attempt, promised Consort Radahn finally goes down. So after this we get the remembrance of a god and a lord. So overall this is one hell of a boss to end the DLC, as well as an extremely challenging and frustrating one. Also after the fight we will get one last cutscene, which involves one last piece of dialogue from Miquella.
Lord brother, I'm going to be a god. If we honor our part of the vow, promise me you'll be my consort. I'll make the world a gentler place.
And just before I finish up, I return to the Roundtable hold and have a quick look at the remembrance from the final boss, which includes Radahn's greatswords, as well as the Light of Miquella incantation. I also buy the Young Lion set, which Radahn was wearing during the fight, although it has to be said that my character looks just a bit too skinny to wear it. So that wraps it up for the playthrough guys, and I'd just like to say thanks for watching. It's been a fun series to do on the channel, even if the views for some of the videos has been quite low at times, but that's just the way things can go sometimes on YouTube. And it may be just the case that the YouTube algorithm has overdosed on videos of Shadow of the Erdtree. Anyway, that's it for now guys, and I will see you in the next game. So until then, it's bye for now, and I'll see you soon.